Russia legalizes Bitcoin for international trade to bypass sanctions. So in a significant legislative move, Russian lawmakers have passed a bill permitting businesses to use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in international trade. This development is part of Russia's strategy to circumvent Western sanctions imposed following the invasion of Ukraine. The new law, expected to take effect in September, aims to address delays in international payments, particularly with key trading partners like China, India, and the UAE. I got to get this when skateboard comment off the screen here. So let me say that again. The new law, expected to take effect in September, aims to address delays in international payments, particularly with key trading partners like China, India, and the UAE. Okay. Makes sense to me. So those are pretty big countries: Russia, China, India, UAE, going to be trading back and forth with Bitcoin. That's what Bitcoin's going to be. It's not going to just be used by us. That would never, if it was only used by us, the price would go down from now. So this is what's going to happen. All these countries who are currently, well, outside of Russia, who's been imposed, their sanctions have been imposed. But outside of that, like, people have had to hold US dollars, and that's what they trade in. That's what kept US in power for this long. And that's why they would threaten all these small countries like Venezuela, like Russia, not a very small country, but that's what they did. They would say, you're safe as long as you use our dollar to trade. And why do you think the US dollars held its power for so long? Because they had that bullet in their gun saying, do this or else. But now they don't need to do that anymore. And the thing that was holding the US dollar up was the velocity of it, that these countries were required to buy US Treasury and hold it on their balance sheet until they wanted to trade with it. They would, when they're selling oil, they would get US dollars. When they're buying oil, whatever it is, they're using US dollars. They don't have to do that anymore. Bitcoin is available now. And it's the part of this too, is they said, what was it? Aims to address delays in international payments. So think about that. Think about your perspective as somebody in Russia who's buying and selling oil with other countries. And you get your shipment of oil, you write them a check, or you send them probably a bank wire. It wouldn't be a check, but you do a bank wire, and think about how long that takes. Think about how many parties are involved with that transaction. And especially when you have the US dollar, the US coming in and saying, you can't do business with Russia anymore. And they basically cut them off of the SWIFT system. So think about how annoying that would be to send a payment and have to wait a couple of days for it to finally settle. And you have too many things in the way there. Now you have Russia, you have China. China sells whatever, something to Russia. Russia sends Bitcoin. It's there in 10 minutes. There's no other parties involved. It does not sound like a better system. So just if that catches on, Bitcoin might be fairly valuable.